Traveling. Who doesn't want to travel? Everybody, wants to experience new things, go around the world. I, for one, love traveling. So when I was thinking about a topic, I was thinking about, my mom's been on me because I have to pay off my credit card because I bought a plane ticket to go to Mexico with my cousin. So, and I was thinking, all the money that I spend, even though monetary-wise it seems a lot, there's other values to it that I don't want you guys to overlook while you're young, and that traveling is important. Well, we're all young, so I want to encourage you guys to travel now because the timing's right. You get a lot more knowledge, and there's actually health benefits to traveling. When I say traveling, you guys thinking, I want to see you guys think money, but for me, it's not about the money. It's more about the memories I'm making. Experience new things that I can enjoy for the rest of my life. So, a study done by Sarah Brown from ABC News explains that estimates that average traveling costs $1,180 per person. So it seems like a lot, but like I said before, you gotta overlook. I'm gonna try to convince you guys to overlook the money and convince you guys to travel now while you're still young. So that brings me to our first point, timing. Right now, we're all relatively young, and what better time to travel? Our responsibilities. We don't really have as much as we like to think we have. Just 2 years ago, my cousin was stationed in Washington, D.C. for the military. And she asked me, hey, I have to go back, and I don't want to drive alone. Do you and your sister want to come? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, when? And she was like, right now, we're going to leave in a few hours. In future, I'm assuming I probably won't be able to do that, but I literally just went home, got some clothes, and took off for 2 weeks. And it was amazing driving across the country, experiencing D.C., New York, and, the East Coast, and I would never forget, I didn't really spend a lot of money that time, but it was just a great experience that, I took advantage of because I was young. I don't have a lot of responsibilities, so it was just, it was just a fun time. And, another study done by Sarah Hansen of lifehack.com says traveling while you're young, your tendencies are more spontaneous and unplanned, which leads to a better experience and in your travels. So, when you get older, I know when I would travel with my parents, it's always well, how much is that? Okay, they would go talk, well, we gotta rent these, okay, well, how much is that? And when you're younger, you're just I don't care, who cares, just, I'll give you what you want, just let me go do this, when I went, when I went to DC and everything, it was my sister was saying oh, well, how are we gonna get to Virginia? Because my cousin actually had to work and we had no car, and I was I don't know, how far is it? And she's it's 3 hours driving. And I was all right, 3 hours walking. And I was oh, I'm not gonna walk. So I looked it up. There was actually a train. East Coast has great public transportation. It would cost $10 a day to go there and back. And every morning I would wake up at 5:30, walk to the train station by 6, and be half asleep, everything. But it was just the greatest time, So then I also want to bring knowledge into it. We gain knowledge, traveling. When like I said before, back in New York, I saw, when I visit Ellis Island, it's never something that I really thought about, I just kind of knew about it from learning it in school. But when you're actually there and you see everything and you see the pictures and it just hits you like a ton of bricks. I just was amazed, and I just remember my sister was okay, let's go after the tour, and I was like I said, you guys can stay. There's a boat every hour, and I was I'll just stay. I couldn't get enough of it. I stayed for almost 3 hours, just looking at pictures, reading everything, standing in the room where everyone just walks in, and that knowledge, I'm gonna carry it with me for the rest of my life, and it's not only gonna help me learn in school and everything, but it just betters your life as a human being. I have a better perspective of life, and the same goes for when I visited Costa Rica. I saw you know, you're in the tourist area, but then once you go off that, you see things like, I saw kids, you know, like I was worried about, you know, Mom, you gotta give me water shoes, you gotta give me sandals, you gotta make sure I get shoes that if I get mud on them, I don't really care, I can just leave them there. And I see kids, you know, walking around those same streets with no shoes, you know, with a t-shirt while it's raining and, you know, shorts. I'm just like, you know, it hits you, and you're just, you know, you gain a better perspective of how blessed you are in your life now. So, you know, the knowledge you gain is it's priceless. And then one talked about health benefits. I don't know about you guys, but when I travel, I like to stay on the move. I don't like to just sit down. You know, but for some reason, I always feel more relaxed than ever. Like I'm never tired. I just feel like I have unlimited amount of energy, even though I'm up, you know, 20 hours a day, you know, when I was in New York, I walked 10 blocks in freezing cold weather just to see the Empire State Building at 2 in the morning. And like, I got back, I had windburn all over my face, and I was, you know, I've never been that cold before. I thought I could handle it, but it's pretty cold. Like, my bones are shaking, but I would do it again if the opportunity arose. And there was a study done by ShareCare, and they interviewed 12,000 middle-aged men, or 1,200 middle-aged men, 600 that did travel at least 1 week out of the year, and 600 who didn't. And it showed 30% less of a chance to have heart disease for those who traveled. So traveling, you know, betters your life. Like I said before, there's just something that relaxes you when you're, you know, out there and everything, and you experience things. And like I've experienced all kinds of things that I never thought I would before. Like I've eaten some pretty crazy stuff. One thing I would love to try again was iguana. I ate some iguana, and it was amazing. Like I seen it and I was like, no, I'm not touching that. No, I wasn't gonna do it. But then, you know, being there, you had to live it up, and I did. And like I said, I would do it again. But I just want to, you know, encourage you guys to travel now while you're young. You know, like, you can't worry about the money. You know, even though it is an issue, you shouldn't let it be the main focal point. You guys should overlook that, and, you know, think about the benefits of it to your health, you know, your knowledge, and the timing is now, guys, so go for it. Thank you.
All right, Ruby.
Had a good topic. It was good at the beginning. I kind of lost with the transition words. It needs a little more. His vision was wandering around. Like I saw a couple times. He didn't keep his eye. Just and he had a good. I just lost it. Well, overall, it was a great topic. I like it. I mean, like you say, we're young and we need to stop focusing on money. I mean, money will come to you, but if there's an opportunity to do it now, why not take it? Pretty much.
Okay. Well, I think you've got an interesting topic here, and you're approaching it with this audience in mind. I like that. I thought that was an effective way to go at the topic. I do think that you need to develop a little bit more support for it. Mostly you're depending on your own examples, and you do a good job with those examples. You make them interesting. Your story about being at Ellis Island, or walking down to the Empire State Building, those things are the kinds of things that make the speech interesting, make us want to listen to you, give you the kind of credibility that says, okay, here's somebody who kind of knows what he's talking about. But you got to be able to expand past that, and so if you had that one reference to a study on health, for instance, that showed that people who traveled had less heart attacks, or less heart disease, I should say. You needed more stuff like that, so kids who traveled, if you had stuff like college students who traveled are more successful in their courses, for example, doing a semester abroad or something like that, that I think would supplement this really nicely. There's a lot of information about these kinds of things, lots of arguments, lots of stuff that talks about how valuable travel is, not just in the abstract, but with some concrete benefits to it, and I think that that's kind of missing from the speech. This is similar to several of the speeches that we've heard where I think people have a good idea about what they want to say. They've put together a speech that is organized, it has the basic elements, but you're not finishing off with the stuff that is as convincing as it could be. Not that what you've said is problematic, but if you want to convince people to do this, unless we trust you, and that's enough, we need something more. All right, and so our grounds need to be stronger rather than just your authority. All right, thank you.